So, BLM has been for the greater part a peaceful protest,
Yep.
and has won the hearts and minds of people around the world. It has also been considered a communist party, looking to defund the police to ensure chaos and anarchy. Can BLM be both and be of true benefit to black people on the whole?
There's a few parts to that question, but let's just say for a moment that BLM is a party. Then to be in a political party, usually you are involved, you read the manifesto, you get involved in all that. Potentially you're paid if they're a political party, like MPs are usually paid. I'm not being paid by the BLM. I haven't read any manifesto. I'm simply alive. I'm simply black, and my life definitely matters. So, politics totally aside, it is insane that it's controversial for me to say my life matters. I've said nothing about the lives of anyone else, but people want us to say all lives matter, which is definitely true. However, if I were to say my dog died, I don't think anyone would say all pets matter, even all dogs matter. I think they'd say, oh, wow, how are you? Are you okay? When black people are dying the world over, on camera, for us to see, somehow it becomes controversial to say Black Lives Matter. Yes, again, all lives matter, but all lives were birthed from black lives. And so I'm not talking any sort of hierarchy. I'm simply saying that when there is a problem, look at the problem, look at how it can be addressed, and it can't be addressed by saying, shut up, Black Lives Matter, shut up. That's what all lives matter sounds like to me, you know? When people run for breast cancer, you don't have people running on the sides screaming, all cancers matter, what are you doing, this is cancerous, but apparently it's racist for me to say that Black Lives Matter. I remember when I was a child, and one of my first proper girlfriends, lovely, lovely person, I went to, she wasn't black, and I went to go and see her mum. I couldn't see her dad, he was too racist, you know, that couldn't happen, but I went to see her mum. I had a great time, and then the next day she said, I don't think we should do that again. I was like, oh, why not? She said, my mum said, you're funny, you're smart, you're handsome, but black people don't have souls.
I mean, where?
Now, this is, I went to a school in Hounslow, were predominantly Asian people, and you know, they were absolutely wonderful to me, most of them. But this girl's family, this is what I was given from them. I would go into, I went into school the next day, and obviously I was just incredibly angry. I thought, even if you hated me, even if you thought I was ugly and stupid or whatever, you don't know my mum, you don't know my dad, my sister, my brothers, and they're black, and so you just said black people have no souls. So even if I had done something, but apparently you liked me, even if I had done something, what would that mean for the rest of them? You don't even know them, but you've already taken away their souls, or the possibility that they have souls. And so, with everything happening in the world, and this isn't new, the camera phones are new, but with everything being brought to light in the world, to say that Black Lives Matter is controversial, again, that sounds absolutely insane to me. On Britain's Got Talent, all the complaints. This isn't a political... What are you talking about? You're right, this isn't a political... It's a stage of expression. And again, what was expressed was a simple statement with just 3 words. Black Lives Matter. Nobody was attacked with that. And yet, they received complaints, racism, threats, all sorts. That shows that there is incredible racism. And the people, oh, I don't want to talk about race, I don't want to think about race, I don't see race. Well, then all you're doing is not seeing the problem, because that doesn't stop the racists. You not seeing race, you not wanting to discuss it, doesn't stop me being called the N-word. It didn't stop any of Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor. It didn't stop them being attacked and killed, and then the way the justice system dealt with it afterwards. Let's say for a moment that firstly the police were in plain clothes. 10 of the 11 witnesses didn't hear them identify themselves. They burst in, and her boyfriend was trying to defend his home. But let's say for a moment that it was chaotic and you know, just things weren't done properly. They burst in, started shooting. Oh no, we've made a mistake. Why are there no repercussions? That shows us how the system then views us. Even if it were just these bad officers. The system did nothing to those bad officers. So if most police are good, and most of the system is good, well then most police can't be good at their job. Because how can they not deal with the criminals in their midst? If there are racist criminals attacking, killing, shooting, beating black people, what are the good ones doing about it? I mean, now, again, you can tie that back to the police powers that police have been given in this country, again, to take people away, put handcuffs and now put on suspects, not even suspect, you want to stop and search, handcuffs get put on first to protect the police. I don't have a history of violence against the police. The police do have a history of violence against black men and women. The police do have a history of rape against women when they've been taken away. We've now given the police not more training, but more powers to take people away. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
And again, thank you, because you're giving brilliant, valid points for people to really get their teeth into. But can I one thing, just for people who may just have a very different skewed view, can you understand the opposite perspective? Someone who says, for example, I don't really know any different. I've not been exposed to this. I don't understand racism. I'm not black. I don't know what you know. I can't. Can you understand that?
If there's, I can understand it. If somebody says, I don't really know. I haven't been exposed. I say, take a look. You know what I mean? Join in conversations. Ask questions. As a man, as a boy, when I was younger, I didn't understand sexism. I thought, well, I'm not sexist, so what's going on here? But it's not about me not being sexist. It's what am I doing to help equality? If I'm doing nothing, I need to at least shut up and get out of the way. But there are people who are not doing anything to help, not, as you say, not looking at the problem. And so I'm not saying you should get up and give anything other than your time and to invest in other human beings, to invest in the plight of other people, to take a look. Is there a case there? What's going on? If I don't know anything, but some people are making noise and, claiming that there's a big problem, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to at least check it out and see what I can learn, see if I can help. If I can't help, all right, I'm going to stay quiet, get out of the way while they're doing their necessary work. If I can help, I'm in. So, yeah.
Great.
I can understand.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. I hope everyone, you understand his view as well. And everybody, once again, check out clusterview.com, cluster.view at Instagram. We'll be posting stuff up there. Please subscribe to our site. We basically are a bunch of guys who come together and put together this wonderful site, so we can have our own voices, so we don't have to basically be shut down and closed off by other platforms and, the people who have the power to shut us down. So come on, join our site and support what we're trying to do out here. Thank you very much for your time. Do you know what? That was a brilliant answer, and I appreciate it. And I got another one for you.
Cool.
What, in your opinion, made George Floyd's demise the powder keg that would make Black Lives Matter a household name?
In my opinion, it was the time, because if I think 8 minutes and 13 seconds, and what I usually find is in those quick 2-minute videos or 60-second videos where a black person just ends up dead. Well, what happened before? As if the poignant moment wasn't the death of a human being. What happened before? Well, we know what happened for 8 minutes and 13 seconds of that interaction. We know that for at least 2 minutes, George Floyd was unconscious, so he couldn't possibly be a threat. We know that those officers received some sort of training. And whatever training they received allowed them to do that to that human being with no consequence and no regard. And for that to be seen by so many people who before were potentially, oh, I don't get it, then they saw that. I mean, you have to really fight against your own eyes if you're going to watch that and then say there's no problem.
Yeah, things have clearly deteriorated so badly for so long to get to the point where someone could sit there callously taking a person's life and not caring about the repercussions.
Exactly. They knew there was a camera there, and it didn't affect anything because they definitely weren't worried about consequences. They couldn't have been worried about a threat. He was clearly no threat after quite early in that video. And then they also weren't worried about any sort of consequences whatsoever. So, the camera used to be something to be worried about if you were doing something wrong. the police can do whatever they want, it looks like to me. In my interactions with the police as well, I've almost been arrested for leaving my home at 10 o'clock in the morning. The police said I could be a thief. That's despite my neighbour recognising me, my sister coming out of the house and recognising me. It being 10 o'clock in the morning, the police said, well, they don't know. You don't live in my home. Of course you don't know, but what is it that gave you suspicion for me to be a burglar? 10 o'clock in the morning, my neighbour and sister recognise me. I'm on my way to work. I'm not sneaking. I'm not running. I'm walking. With black skin. Could be a burglar? That's what it looked like to me. If it was something else, they didn't tell me what that was.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna really struggle to argue against that.
It's ridiculous. I mean, on my way home, about 5 o'clock in the evening, I was stopped by the police on my road because they didn't recognise me. I said, do you live here? He said, no. I said, now how can you recognise me? I didn't stop you because I don't recognise you. There's no reason to stop people. There's going to be billions of people you don't recognise. You're going to waste many days, so much time if you just want to stop them all. So, why did you stop me again? You don't live here. I was stopped for walking slowly in a crowded street while texting. The officer said, what are you walking slowly in a crowded street and texting for? I said, I'm walking slowly because the street is crowded and I'm texting. He then pulled me to the side. Don't get lippy, son. We'll be in the back of the van with your mate. Who? Him. Another random black person who I didn't know. I don't know him. Do you know each other? We both said no. Well, I get out of here. Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. What if I knew him? We'd have to get in the back of the van. It is just insane.
Wow.
Insane.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. I'm sitting there speechless in most of this stuff. Obviously, I've heard a lot, I've seen a lot, and I get stuff sent to me all the time. But what you're saying, this is the UK, and you'd expect it to be a little bit better. Yeah. And it seems to be kind of like these anecdotes are just kind of presenting something else.
Definitely.
But anyway, we're going to move on, and I don't need to be rude to anyone. Seriously, guys, you can go and research your stuff. Please do your research. That's the whole point. Open your minds to things that are going on around us, and bring in your views. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can basically send us a message. You can send onto the video. It will be out there. You can basically put up a comment, and Elliott can absolutely respond to that.
Definitely.
Because it'd be great if you want to access Elliott.
Let me say one quick thing. Most people in this country, in my experience, aren't racist, but also most people aren't in power. And so if you're not racist, but you're not a police officer, that's just great for your life. If you are racist and a police officer, that's terrible for mine. If you are racist and you're a judge, oh my gosh. So it is these positions of power where people that want power are gravitating to, and a good number of them are racist. So it's that.
Yeah, and I love the way you put that together. It's quite worrying, and yes, people do decide, they do choose. We know that people do choose professions for all sorts of reasons, so they can, people who've been in the church, people. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So again, we've all got to look into this stuff for ourselves and understand. There's more to it, and he's bringing up. Elliott is bringing up some very, very valid points that need to be looked into. Anyway, on to the next question. I was going to ask another question, but because you talked about it anyway in some shape or form, I'm going to skip over that one and go into this one. Okay, so who would you vote for in the upcoming US elections, Biden or Trump, and why?
That's a tricky one, because there are some obvious problems with Trump, which the media doesn't stop telling us about. And there are some serious problems I have seen with Kamala Harris and Biden. Kamala Harris knowingly at least left an innocent person, and I don't know how many in prison, but at least one, and she knowingly left him in prison and did nothing to try and help him come out. In fact, worked to keep him in there. Check that out. And Biden, if you simply, some of Biden's conduct, some of his previous statements on black people, don't say to me he's not racist. And if you type in something like creepy Biden, you can see not just the allegations of sexual misconduct from many women, but how he interacts with people. Take a look at that. Type in creepy Biden. I'm not going to say too much on it. Type it in and watch for yourself, because for me it was too much and I wouldn't want to see that again. Who would I vote for? I would vote for whoever offered the most reasonable measures toward dealing with the coronavirus, who's looking to protect people and free people, because lockdowns don't work. And so for me it'll be that, who's got the most, I can't say, we're always looking at who the lesser of two evils, and for me the lesser of two evils in this case is who offers humanity and the people underneath their power the most freedom, the most opportunity, and the most protection. So whoever that is, I'd have to look deeper into their policies, but whoever that is.
Fantastic, really appreciate that, and again, it just shines light on so many things, illuminates things that most people aren't talking about, or most people aren't aware of, and most people, I wouldn't say most people, we have so many left and right, so when you're stuck in the left and right, you don't really want to consider anything else, and no one wants to, if you've got a champion, why would I want to take down my champion? Mm-hmm. I don't think any of this stuff will actually in any way affect where people vote. People will still vote where they're going to vote. Yeah. But it's always nice to know. So it's like one of those "I told you so," and then you can't come back and say, "Well, we told you so." Exactly. It's just one of those simple things. So we just do your research, and I think everything you said was very, very valid, and we appreciate it on clusterview.com. So thank you so much for your time, Elliott Ajai-Ajagbe. Fantastic. Well, obviously, clearly knows his stuff. And a lot to say, and we're here to help and support people who have a view, and so just an obvious pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here. You can find me on Twitter at Winter Solstice GN, on Instagram Winter Solstice GN, or Wordplay, spelt with E's. E is the only vowel. Cool. Thank you very much.
Please do, and once again, if you've got comments, you can want to obviously connect with Elliott.
Yeah, please.
Hopefully he'll get a page set up on Clusterview, and you'll be able to just tag him, hashtag him, or whatever, and he'll be able to respond to you directly from the video. Definitely. Thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.